It was now about the 6th hour, and there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour, while the sun's light failed and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Then Jesus, crying with a loud voice, said, "Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit." And having said that, he breathed his last. One of the reasons that I felt it important this week to offer these brief reflections on the crucifixion is that we focus our attention this Holy Week on the horror, scandal, pain, and sheer strangeness of this story of the cross. Our celebrations of the glorious events of Easter Day will be so much more profound if we have taken time to sit and ponder at the foot of the cross. We are not to think that today's final word, "Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit," is indicative that Jesus slipped away delicately from the cross in a golden twilight. The crucifixion is always presented to us as a battleground. Jesus won a great victory over sin. We have seen how the ugliness of his crucifixion corresponds to the ugliness of the sin of the world. And he won a victory in which we, his people, can share. In this last saying from the cross, Jesus is teaching us how to die and how to live. There was a theologian who addressed the great questions of life and death and the struggle to believe and to make sense of things. And he did this years after, from his own experience, his only child, a son, had been born when he and his wife were in their 40s. And then they lost him to a rare disease when he was 23. And out of his great grief, this bereaved father said this: "The Christian life is lived in between. In between, God, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And, Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit." St. Paul talks of us sharing in Jesus' death and therefore sharing also in his life beyond death. In his suffering we find our redemption. In his dereliction we find our salvation. And at last we are able to say with him, even in the midst of death, doubt and perplexity, "Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit." Through his work on the cross we are brought to know God as Father, just as Jesus himself called God Father. The crucifixion calls for a response, and the hymn we are about to hear articulates that response. The refrain is this: "Now didst thou give thyself for me, now I give myself to thee." We can make those words our own. The crucified Lord holds out his arms to you in the love that will not let you go.